Welcome to Foregone Trails. In this video, it's time to make sure the underside of this Jeepster is good and protected. Here we go. Now, as with most projects on this crusty Commando, I am trying to keep everything as cheap as possible. Now, I understand the UHMW, the plastic skid plate material I'm going to be using to build these, isn't always the cheapest option. However, when I bought it, I was able to get a really large sheet of it for pretty cheap on Amazon through their like warehouse surplus used pricing deal. So with that, I have a huge sheet of it. I used some originally to build the skid plate for the gas tank. I can't remember if I did a video on that or not. If I didn't, I'll show you what that looks like. If I did, just go back and watch that video. So since I already had that in place, that is really great for skid plates. It's hard, it's dense, it slides really well so that when I do hit things, because I'm sure it's inevitable at this point that I'm going to be hitting some things. And so with that, hopefully this UHMW is going to be nice, it's going to be slick, it's going to be durable, it's going to protect everything underneath, didn't cost me a lot of money, and so it checks all the boxes. Now, how am I going to attach it? I'm going to be using some 1x1 1/8" wall square tube, weld that to the cross member, bring it up, and then attach it to the motor mounts. And so hopefully that'll give me an exoskeleton that I'll then attach everything to. Now, I'm sure this is plenty of explanation. So let's go ahead and jump in. I'll show you what it looks like. Here's the underside, and this is the reason that I felt like I really needed to make sure this is all protected and covered in skid plates. So if we look at it, hang on, let me get the tape. I originally said that that distance there was going to be 18 inches. After installing those updated packs in the rear, I'm at about 18.5. So not crazy low, but I really don't want this to be the lowest point of everything under here. And so to do that, if we look over here, and I'm sorry for this lighting, it's hard, guys. It's single digits outside, but if we look, this is where the 1x1 steel is going to go ahead and attach. I'm going to run it from here all the way up the full length of this, bypassing all of these pieces here, all the way up past. And then since I went ahead and installed this TJ style exhaust, I have clearance right here between the exhaust and this to take me right up there. There we go. So there's the motor mounts. And so if we look at that, I'll have plenty of room to go ahead and run a piece from there all the way to here. You can see, nice straight shot. So hopefully that will solve my problems for the skid plate. Let's go ahead and get everything cut out and show you what that template's going to look like. This is about 90% of what I'm going to be using. I went ahead and made some plates already, so you can see just 4 of these, 3/16 thick. 2 of them are going to go ahead and bolt to the the transmission cross member. 2 of them are going to bolt to the motor mounts, and then I've got 2 long runners that are going to run from basically the cross member here all the way up, and this will go in front of the oil pan, and I'll weld a piece from here to there. That'll make a big long square. I'm going to run 1 more as a middle support between the bell housing and the transmission, and then the UHMW skid plate is going to actually bolt to the bottom of this. Okay, so I didn't forget. I didn't film everything finishing up the skid plates because 1, it was like single digits in the garage. It was really cold, really difficult to film everything. 2, I had to do everything late at night, and the lighting in there was just awful. You couldn't see anything. So now that I'm back from the trip, I was also on crunch time. I had 7 days left to finish the skid plates and the fenders. I'd obviously finished the leaf springs at that point. Well, we all know how that went. I'm going to show you a little bit of how I finished out the skid plates. I think they turned out really well. I did modify the plans a little bit. The first thing I did was, instead of using square tube to go from the frame side down to the skid plate, I actually used round tube and just bent it. And I initially said I was going to go all the way up to the motor mounts on both sides. After looking at it a little bit closer, since I have a 3-link design on the Jeeps, on the Commando, not Jeepster, sorry, somebody tagged me for that the other day. It's just habit at this point, guys. And but since this has a 3-link on it, the right side has no upper link, so I went ahead and actually ran that upper support to where the stock motor mount would have mounted to the frame. And then on the other side, I had to bend 2 bends, so it came up, went over, and then back up directly to the motor mounts that I'd built on this. It clears the 3-link, everything works really nicely, and I thought it was a much more polished product than if I would have done some square tube and kind of bent and cut and done all those things. So overall, I think it worked really well. I actually didn't touch the skid plates at all once I got it out and tested it, so that's, I guess, a good thing. And now with the leaf springs broken, I'm actually sitting at right about 17 inches from the ground. So I don't know if that's because, you know, aired down to 10 PSI, but also the broken leaf springs, it's sitting a lot lower in the back. So really, I'm happy with the way the skid plates turned out. I think they're going to work really nicely once I get this thing fixed and back on the trail. And guys, I hope you enjoyed seeing what I did, my solution to get skid plates under this thing, protect all the vital parts. Till next time, thanks for watching.
Money worm.